You know, I have been thinking about you and people like you who are over 70 and who go to bed every night genuinely hoping that tonight will be different. Tonight I will sleep deeply. Tonight I will wake up feeling rested. And then morning comes and you feel almost as tired as when you went to bed. Maybe you woke up 2 or 3 times during the night. Maybe you lay awake at 2 in the morning staring at the ceiling. Maybe you slept for 8 hours and still feel exhausted. And you start to wonder, is something wrong with me? Is this just what getting old feels like? Am I ever going to sleep properly again? I want you to hear this from me directly. Nothing is wrong with you. You are not broken. And no, this is not simply what getting old feels like. There are very specific reasons why your sleep has changed. Real biological reasons. Reasons that have names. And reasons that can be addressed. I am Dr. Daniel Chen. And today I want to sit with you and explain exactly what is happening to your sleep, why it is happening, and what you can gently begin doing, starting tonight, to help your body find its way back to the deep, restful sleep it is still capable of having, because it is still capable. I promise you that. So let us start at the very beginning. Let us talk about what deep sleep actually is. Because most people have never been told, when you sleep, your brain moves through several different stages over and over throughout the night. The stage that matters most, the one that does all the real healing work, is called slow wave sleep. Some doctors call it deep sleep or stage 3 sleep. During this stage, something remarkable happens. Your brain releases growth hormone. Your muscles repair themselves. Your immune system does its most important work. Your blood pressure drops to its lowest point of the day. And your brain literally cleans itself. There is a system in the brain called the glymphatic system, and it only activates properly during deep, slow wave sleep. It flushes out toxic waste products, including a protein called beta amyloid, which is one of the substances linked to Alzheimer's disease. Deep sleep is not a luxury. It is when your body heals. It is when your brain protects itself. It is when tomorrow's energy is prepared for you. Now, here's what I need you to understand, and please really hear this. After the age of 70, the amount of time your body spends in deep sleep decreases significantly. Research shows that by the time we reach our 70s, we may be spending as little as 5 to 8% of our total sleep time in that deep restorative stage. Compare that to a young adult who spends around 20% of their night in deep sleep. That is the difference. That is why you wake up tired, not because you slept fewer hours, but because the quality of those hours has changed. And the question I want to answer for you today is why? Why does this happen? And what can we do about it? The first reason your deep sleep has decreased is a change in a tiny but incredibly important gland inside your brain. It is called the pineal gland, and its one job is to produce a hormone called melatonin. Melatonin is the hormone that tells your body it is time to sleep now. It lowers your body temperature slightly, it slows your heart rate, it dims your alertness, and it guides your brain into those deep restorative sleep stages. Now, here is what happens as we get older. The pineal gland slowly begins to calcify, it hardens, and it produces less and less melatonin. By the time most people reach their 70s, their melatonin production at night may be less than a quarter of what it was in their 40s. A quarter. So your body is still trying to sleep, but the hormonal signal that guides it into deep sleep is barely a whisper compared to what it once was. This is why you often lie awake longer before falling asleep. This is why you wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning and cannot get back into deep sleep easily. The signal is too weak. The second reason is something called sleep architecture changes. Now that sounds very technical, but let me explain it simply. Think of a good night of sleep like a beautiful piece of music with a structure, a rhythm, soft parts and deep parts, light moments and profound moments. In a healthy young adult, that music plays in long, deep movements, long stretches of truly restorative deep sleep. But after 70, the architecture of that music changes, the deep movements become shorter, the light stages become longer, and there are more brief awakenings between the cycles. Awakenings so brief, you may not even remember them in the morning, but they interrupt the depth of your sleep over and over through the night. Research from the National Institute on Aging has shown that adults over 70 experience, on average, between 2 and 6 times more brief nighttime awakenings than younger adults, each one pulling you out of deep sleep and making it harder to return to that depth. The third reason is temperature regulation, and this one surprises most of my patients. Your body temperature needs to drop by about 1 to 2 degrees to initiate and maintain deep sleep. This is not optional. It is a biological requirement. In younger adults, the body manages this temperature drop automatically and efficiently. But after 70, the body's ability to regulate its own temperature during sleep becomes less precise, less reliable. Many older adults run too warm during the night without realizing it, and that warmth, that slight elevation in body temperature, prevents the brain from settling into the deep, slow wave stages. It is like trying to fall into a deep sleep in a room that is just slightly too warm. Your body keeps trying, but something keeps pulling it back to the surface. The fourth reason, and this is one I want to be particularly gentle about, because it is something many older adults feel embarrassed to mention, is pain. Chronic low-level pain, the kind that you almost get used to during the day, because you are moving, distracted, occupied. But at night, when the house is quiet and there is nothing to distract you, that background pain in your knees, your hips, your lower back, your shoulders, it rises to the surface and it pulls you out of deep sleep again and again, without you always realizing that pain is the reason you woke. Research has consistently shown that chronic pain is one of the most significant disruptors of deep sleep in adults over 70. And the relationship works in both directions. Poor sleep makes pain worse, and worse pain makes sleep worse. It becomes a cycle, a gentle and exhausting cycle that I see in my patients every single week. The fifth reason is medication. And I say this with great care and respect, because I know that most of the medications my older patients take are necessary and important. But many of the most commonly prescribed medications for adults over 70 have a side effect that is almost never discussed during the appointment. They disrupt deep sleep architecture. Beta blockers, which are prescribed for heart conditions and blood pressure, reduce melatonin production and have been shown in research to significantly reduce time spent in deep sleep. Diuretics, which are prescribed for blood pressure and fluid retention, cause nighttime urination, which fragments sleep. Corticosteroids, prescribed for inflammation and autoimmune conditions, are strongly associated with disrupted sleep cycles. Certain antidepressants suppress the deepest stages of sleep, and some common antihistamines found in over-the-counter sleep aids actually reduce deep sleep quality, even while making you feel drowsy. I am not telling you to stop any medication. Please never do that without speaking to your doctor. But I am telling you that if you are taking any of these medications and your sleep has been poor, it is worth a very honest conversation with your doctor about whether the timing of your medication could be adjusted or whether an alternative might affect your sleep less. You deserve that conversation, and you have every right to ask for it. Now, let us talk about what you can actually do, starting tonight, starting this week, to begin improving the depth of your sleep. Because I did not come here just to explain the problem. I came here to help you with it. The first thing I want you to do is help your body drop its temperature before bed. Remember what I said about temperature. Your body needs to cool down to enter deep sleep. Here is a beautifully simple way to help it do that. Take a warm bath or a warm shower about 1 to 2 hours before you go to bed. Not a cold shower, a warm one. I know that sounds like the opposite of what I just told you, but here is the science behind it. When you step out of that warm bath, your body surface is warm and your blood vessels near the skin are dilated and open. Your body begins rapidly releasing heat through those open vessels. Your core body temperature drops more quickly and more significantly than it would have without the bath. Research published in Sleep Medicine Reviews found that a warm bath taken 60 to 90 minutes before bed improves sleep quality significantly in older adults, increasing the proportion of time spent in deep, slow wave sleep. It is free, it is gentle, and it works. The second thing I want you to do is get some natural light into your eyes within the first 30 minutes of waking up every morning. I know this sounds unrelated to sleep, but it is deeply related. Your body has an internal clock. Scientists call it the circadian rhythm. And after 70, this internal clock becomes less accurate, less anchored, which means your body loses confidence about when it is supposed to be awake and when it is supposed to be deeply asleep. Natural morning light, especially sunlight, is the most powerful way to reset and anchor that internal clock. When natural light enters your eyes in the morning, it sends a powerful signal to your brain. It is morning now, I am awake. And that same signal sets a timer that tells your pineal gland to begin releasing melatonin, about 14 to 16 hours from now, which is exactly when you want to be falling into deep sleep. You do not need to go for a long walk. Simply sit by a bright window with your morning tea or coffee, or step outside for just 5 to 10 minutes. That is enough, that small habit, done consistently every morning, can meaningfully improve the depth of your sleep within 2 to 3 weeks. The third thing I want you to do is be very careful about one specific thing in the evening, and that is light from screens, your phone, your tablet, your television. These devices emit a type of light called blue light, and blue light is particularly effective at suppressing melatonin production in the evening. Remember, your pineal gland already produces far less melatonin than it once did. Blue light in the evening suppresses even that reduced amount. Further, I am not asking you to give up your television. I know how much comfort that brings, and I would never take that away from you. But I would gently ask, can you dim the screen a little in the evening? Can you move it slightly further away? And then last 30 to 40 minutes before bed, can you put down your phone or tablet and let your brain begin its natural wind down without that blue light interference? These are small adjustments, but for someone whose melatonin production is already reduced, they make a meaningful difference. The fourth thing is something you eat, or rather, something to consider eating more of. There are foods that naturally contain compounds that support melatonin production and support deeper sleep. Tart cherries are at the top of that list. They are one of the very few natural food sources of melatonin. A small glass of unsweetened tart cherry juice about an hour before bed has been shown in multiple clinical studies to improve sleep duration and to increase the proportion of time spent in deep sleep. In adults over 65, kiwi fruit is another wonderful choice. A study found that eating 2 kiwi fruits 1 hour before bed every night for 4 weeks significantly improved sleep onset, sleep duration, and sleep quality in older adults. Warm milk, which generations of grandmothers recommended, contains both tryptophan and magnesium, 2 compounds that genuinely support the brain's preparation for deep sleep. Grandmother was right. Walnuts, a small handful in the evening, contain natural melatonin as well as omega-3 fatty acids that reduce the inflammation, which often underlies the chronic low-level pain that disrupts sleep in older adults. The fifth thing I want to share with you is about your sleeping environment, and specifically the temperature of your bedroom. Research consistently shows that the ideal bedroom temperature for deep sleep in older adults is between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 18 to 20 degrees Celsius, cooler than most people keep their bedrooms. If your room is warmer than this, your body will struggle to complete that essential temperature drop that initiates deep sleep. A simple fan, or opening a window slightly before bed, or choosing lighter bedding can make a genuine difference to the depth of your sleep. And if your feet tend to feel cold at night, wearing warm socks to bed actually helps. Warm feet help dilate the blood vessels in the feet, which assists your body in releasing heat from the core and dropping that core temperature more efficiently. The sixth thing is about the quiet worry that many older adults carry to bed with them. The mental activity, the replaying of the day, the quiet anxiety that arrives the moment the house is still, and there is nothing left to distract you from your thoughts. This is real, and it is extremely common, and it is not weakness. It is a nervous system that has had a long and full life and has learned to stay alert. What I recommend, and what research supports, is something called a worry transfer. About an hour before bed, take a piece of paper and write down anything that is on your mind, anything you are worried about, anything you need to remember tomorrow, anything that feels unresolved. Write it all down and then close the notebook. What you are doing is transferring those thoughts from your mind to the page. You are telling your brain, these things are noted, they are safe. You do not need to hold on to them tonight. Multiple studies have found that expressive writing before bed significantly reduces the time it takes older adults to fall asleep and reduces nighttime awakenings. It costs nothing. It takes 5 minutes. And it is one of the most genuinely effective things I can recommend. The seventh and final thing is to talk to your doctor, specifically about your sleep, not as an aside at the end of an appointment, but as the main reason you are there. Sleep deserves its own appointment because poor deep sleep after 70 is not just about feeling tired. It is connected to cognitive decline. It is connected to cardiovascular health. It is connected to immune function. It is connected to emotional well-being. It is connected to fall risk. It is connected to how long and how well you live. Your sleep is not a small thing. It is one of the most important indicators of your overall health. And if your doctor does not ask about it, you bring it up. You say, "Doctor, my sleep has not been right for a while. I want to talk about that today." You deserve that conversation. Let me bring everything together for you now. After 70, your deep sleep decreases because your melatonin production drops significantly, because your sleep architecture changes and becomes lighter and more fragmented, because your body struggles more with temperature regulation during the night, because chronic pain rises to the surface when the distraction of the day is gone, and because many common medications affect sleep depth in ways that are rarely discussed. None of this is your fault. None of this means your body has failed you. It means your body has changed, and it needs a little more support than it once did. Tonight, try a warm bath an hour before bed. Get natural light into your eyes tomorrow morning. Write your worries down before you sleep. Keep your bedroom a little cooler. Have a small glass of tart cherry juice. None of these are dramatic changes, but done with consistency, done with patience, done with the kindness toward yourself that you absolutely deserve, they can genuinely begin to bring your sleep back deeper, quieter, more healing than it has been in a long time. I am Dr. Daniel Chen, and I want you to know I genuinely care about how you are sleeping tonight, because the quality of your sleep is the foundation of everything else. Your memory, your mood, your energy, your health, your joy. Please share this video with someone you love who is over 70, who goes to bed every night hoping tonight will be different. Tell them it can be different, because it truly can. Subscribe to this channel and leave me a comment below. Tell me how long your sleep has been this way and what you are going to try tonight. I will be reading every single one. Take good care of yourself. You have earned the right to rest deeply, and I am here to help you get there.